This is the tutorial that I promised in the Beautiful Planning group about how I take the silhouette files that Steph provides us and put them in Cricut Design Space or Design Studio. So you can see that we're working with Moon today. I love this little guy. She's the most precious. And you'll notice that this is all full sheet, and if you have a Cricut, you know that the maximum cutting area is 6.75 by 9.25. So we're a little bit beyond that. So the first, I'm going to take you through the steps to tell you how I get that done. If you hear stomping, please ignore it. It is the little kids that live above me. They get really excited on the weekends. Um, so I'm going to walk you guys through how to get all of your stickers into a printable box and size so that the shapes of the stickers and the size don't distort and you get a good cut. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select all, and then I'm going to come over and I'm going to go to the modify menu. This is all in Silhouette Design Studio. I know that if you have a Cricut, it may seem counterintuitive to use the silhouette files, but for me, I find it easier to make them get into the dimensions that we need. So in Design Studio, open up all your files, and then I'm going to hit crop. That's going to get rid of Steph's logo. Sorry, Steph. And anything else that is going to make it problematic to fit inside the box that we need. Plus, it makes all the stickers individually movable. And then I'm going to come up here to page setup, and I'm going to turn off all the registration marks. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. It looks like I've got all the registration marks on this guy off anyway, which is great. So I'm just going to go ahead and crop all of these guys. So again, that's hitting select all, which on a Mac is Command A, or on a PC you can hit Control, hold Control and press A. Alternatively, you can Control click or right click and hit select all and then click crop. I just find it much easier to work with my keyboard. Okay. Crop that guy. Okay, so our word art page is always going to be, whoops, Control Z that guy. There we go. Our word art page is always going to be the most challenging to work with, so we're going to start with this guy. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here to my square tool, and I'm going to select, I want to make a rectangle. So any rectangle size will work. It doesn't matter, because you're going to come up here and you're going to modify the size of it. And we want it to be 6.75 wide and 9.25. And hit enter. Okay. I'm just going to move that guy. So this red box is the bounding box that everything has to fit in for it to get cut by the Cricut. The Cricut will not cut an area larger than this. So this is how much room we have to make all our stickers fit. So I'm going to, the first thing to make sure it prints, and ladies, if you have Cricut, you know also that sometimes it's hard to get your word art stickers to cut right, or if you're hand cutting, you know, you don't get that pretty line. So I'm going to show you my trick for that as well. I'm going to select all of these guys. I'm going to go to the line menu. I'm going to make sure that print lines of selected shapes is selected. There we go. I want these guys to print at half a point, so it's a line that the Design Studio will recognize, but when it prints, it's not super thick. And sorry, my computer is deciding to rainbow wheel of death on me. And then once that guy gets done, oh, do come on. Sorry, ladies. There we go. I'm going to select black as my line color for all of this, and it's going to rainbow wheel of death. I don't know why it's deciding to be slow today, but it is. Great, so everything is back. I'm just going to go ahead and select all again and make sure. Oh, that's why it's so irritated. I have 1.5 selected instead of 0.5. So I'm just going to double click on this guy. Ooh, Sorry for the spinning wheel of death. I know that's interrupting our tutorial. Just bear with me. There we go. I'm just going to make that 0.5 and hit enter. There we go. And I'll deselect everything. Ladies, if you're not familiar with Design Studio, there are a couple ways you can deselect everything, but I find that the easiest way is just to click somewhere off the page. Okay, so now we've got all our stickers. So we're going to select our box. We're going to copy that guy, Command C or Control C, and then we're going to paste him. So that's Command V or Control V. And we're just going to paste him on all of our little guys. Okay. So ladies, I don't know if you're used to cropping your own pages so that you have everything that you want or need. But here are my little tips. You'll notice that here's our box, and we've gotten everything but our short 3-heart checklists in there. I don't use this short 3-heart checklist, so I usually just get rid of them. But if you wanted to use them, I'll show you how we do that. So I'm going to Command X, or I'm going to cut these, edit. You can also edit, cut. And then I'm going to go over to another page that may have space for things that I'm not going to use. Like, see, we have our 2 littles pages. You know, maybe I'm not going to use all of those guys. So what you would do is you would just cut and paste them. It looks like I'm going to struggle to find room for it. So I'm just not going to use my 3-heart checklists. They went away, bye-bye. Okay, so now we've got this page, and you can see that our alt checks all fit really nicely and neatly in the bounding box. So I'm going to go ahead and save that guy. Okay, so this page is done. With the washi, it's the same thing. I'm going to move my weekend, and now I'm going to, my bounding box around that guy is happy. So I'm going to file, save that guy. Okay, so I have this little guy. I'm going to go ahead and cut him out and move him over here. Now you can see that in the alt checks page, I actually have a little bit of room up at the top. So if I'm super careful, you know what, I don't think I'm going to have enough room. Sometimes you can move your boxes around so you have enough room in different places to put things. So it's just like figuring out what works for you, what you know, what stickers you use, what stickers you don't. I never use these little guys. They're really cute, but I don't, you know, they just aren't useful for me personally, so I'm going to go ahead and crop this out. Okay, so this guy's happy where he is. I use these guys for sure, but I don't use the top 3 stickers. So I'm going to move those. And now I've got all this space down here up here at the top. So I'm going to click on my weekend banners, and I'm going to rotate them. Now I don't know if you've ever had trouble getting them to lie perfectly straight. If you hold that shift key down while you're rotating, it will sort of lock it at a right angle at 90 degree. And then you can move that guy over right here. And we're going to do the same thing with this guy. I'm just going to grab it so it rotates, drag it with your mouse, and hit that shift key, and it's going to hit that perfect 90 degree. And I'm going to move it down. Okay. So sometimes you may have to fudge it a little bit. Like I can move this guy over a little bit more so that he fits a little more comfortably in there. Ta-da. Now I have this sheet all ready to go and happy, so I'm going to save that guy. Okay. So I've got 2 versions of the littles. Let me see what the differences are here. Oh, it's okay, so like all purples for the most part, or multicolor. Well, I typically don't use the all purples. I like the multicolor. So I'm just going to close out this first littles. Save, sure, I've got it ready to go in case I want to come back to it. Okay, so then here's my littles right here. All my glitter headers, everything like that. I'm just going to make sure this is selected, my bounding box. Then I'm going to go ahead and center everything in there. And deselect, that looks really good. So I'm going to go ahead and save that. Okay. So really in this short amount of time, we've gotten 1, 2, 3, 4 of our pages done. 5 is the tough guy. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom this guy out. Again, because we're limited in terms of space with how we, how much room we have to print on InDesign Studio, you're going to have to pick and choose which stickers sometimes. I know that that's really painful, and if you're like me, you don't want to lose any of your stickers, but if you know there's something that you're not using, you can go ahead and crop that out. Alternatively, you can create a new document in Silhouette, add this box to it, and then go ahead and copy and paste everything into a new document that doesn't fit maybe on the pages that you're looking for. So I don't use our flaggies. So what I was trying to do there was select multiple items, and I forgot to hold my shift key down. So if you hold your shift key down and select multiple items, you can do that. Alternatively, so I'm not going to use those guys, so I'm going to delete. Alternatively, I'm going to move this guy over for illustrative purposes really fast. If you want to select a bunch, you can click and drag. So all of my little dots, I'm going to move over here. Okay, so I'm going to move this guy back to where he's here. Ladies, I don't know if you do, I have date dots already printed from a different printable, so I'm going to select and delete all of those date dots because I don't need them. And that has opened up a world of room for me down here. Let's see what else I can use. I can't drink coffee, which is the saddest thing in the world, because I know people love it so much, but I can't drink it, so I get rid of those coffee stickers. Staff, if you ever want to make stickers that talk about chai, I can drink chai. So, love you, girl. Okay, so there we go. There's those guys, ready to go. Remember how we rotated that weekend banner? You can do that with multiple items too, especially since you're keeping them in the same place. So, and I held down that shift key so that it was a 90-degree. Bam. Alrighty. So now I've got all of my word art stickers that I'm going to use into a place, but I super like this bunny. So I want to copy it. I want more than one. I'm going to hit select it, hit copy, and then I'm going to come over here and right click and hit paste. Okay, well it pasted over there, so now I've got 2 bunnies, but I've got to make room for this bunny. Oh no. So I'm going to move my stickers around right here until, okay, let's move Mr. Flat up here where he's happy. Here we go. Move our star right here. Yeah, okay, so I don't want her to face the same way. Maybe I want her to face the different way. You can control click. Flip horizontally. Okay, and now she's facing a different way. Right? So, if you're super curious about how to make all of this work, my best advice to you is to grab a word art page and play with it. So I love all those little star stickers too. So I'm going to copy them, and I'm going to paste those guys. I'm going to move it over here, and then I'm going to try to do it again, because I really love those little star stickers. They're super cute. So there's all my star stickers. So now I'm just going to start filling in blank space, because, you know, I wanted more stars to put in my planner, because I think they're adorable. Ladies, you can do this with any, you can do this with Photoshop, you can do this with any design editing software. But my recommendation to you is to do it through Silhouette for a couple of reasons. One, it's less exporting and importing for you in terms of converting files to work with different pieces of software. And this is me having spent several months doing all of this editing through Photoshop, which was a giant pain in my butt. And the other thing that I'll say is it takes longer to do it in places like Photoshop because you've got to select every single item with the polygon tool or maybe with a lasso tool. And it can be really time consuming and tedious. And with Silhouette, it automatically recognizes what you want to move and how you want to move it. So I really recommend going ahead and downloading the Silhouette software. It's free. It's super easy to learn if you've ever dealt with anything that's like Photoshop. And it's super easy. Okay, so I've got all my stars. And I'm pretty happy with that. I'm going to move this guy over here with his friends. Hold on, maybe star. Okay, so I'm going to save that. Alright, so all of these guys are saved. Right, perfect. And I'm actually going to create a little bit more room. That makes me happier. In order to preserve your sanity, I recommend leaving a pretty decent border. More than, let's see, more than a little bit of white space. So what I try to do is, you can see that there are lines around the bounding boxes. I try to keep the line that is right here on the outside of the sticker. I try not to put it in any further than that. Because if you get this close, what's going to happen is you might potentially, this line is going to be cut when we cut our stickers, this line right here. And what happens is, maybe your Silhouette is off, or your Cricut is off a little bit, it's going to cut through that sticker. Also, it's really hard for your Cricut to read where this line is, because the registration marks are just outside this line when you print. So you definitely want to make sure that you've got some space there, just to make it easier for the Cricut to do its job. So now I really am happy with that. So I'm going to go ahead and hit save. Command S. Okay, so now that it's happy and it's made its cut job, what we're going to do is we're going to go to File, and I'm just going to do this one for you guys. Print. And once that menu comes up, we're going to print to PDF. We're going to print to PDF. Save as a PDF. Okay. So I'm going to go into where I know I have my stuff saved. So desktop, banner printable, beautiful planning printable that I'm editing. Okay, so here are all my cut files. And I'm just going to go ahead and click the way I keep mine organized. I click the name of the studio file that I'm printing the PDF, and I hit save. So it's going to take a minute to process that page. Rainbow spinning wheel of death. I'm so excited about this one. I think I'm going to use this in a couple of weeks. Most of my February is already done because I was planning my work schedule out, but I think this may be my first week of March. Right for my St. Patty's Day. Just bear with Silhouette Studio. Sometimes it is a little slow, especially if you're running multiple processes. And right now I am recording my screen as I'm doing all of this, and my computer's probably a little mad at me. The other great thing about this is that this is the way that you can, resize everything in Silhouette Studio if you want to use it for a specific block that it's not sized for. Okay, so now here we are back with our PDF file. I'm going to select that. And if you have a Mac, I really recommend you open this with Preview. If not, you can open it with Adobe Acrobat or Photoshop. For PC users, I'm not entirely sure right now what PDF readers are going to convert to PNGs for you, but you can Google that, and it's super easy to find a program that will. Okay, so here we are open in Preview. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to File, I'm going to go to Export. And the reason we're exporting from a PDF is Silhouette will not save your cut file, your new cut file, directly into an image. So we print it to a PDF, and then we convert that PDF. That's how we have to do this. So I'm going to go down here to PNG, which is Portable Network Graphic. It is the best file format I found, and I tend to do 200 pixels an inch for resolution. 300 is usually my standard when I'm working with graphics. But 300 is going to make your file too big to import into the Cricut Design Studio. I have tried and tested that for me. So 200 pixels an inch, we're going to save that. And he's all saved and happy. Rainbow spinning wheel again. There we go. And I'm not entirely sure what that saved. So we're going to go back to Sorry guys, I really wasn't paying attention. And we're just going to do that. Export. Oh, it's saved in Dreamer. Okay, I can go and get that. So here's Dreamer. Here's my moon word art. I'm just going to move it to a moon folder because I like to keep organized. Okay, so here we go, moon word art. I'm going to open this. This is an additional step that you don't have to do. You can put this PNG straight into Cricut Design Studio. I'm going to do an extra thing because I have emotions about it, and I like to make sure that my files are directly importable. So if you have Photoshop, you might want to. I take my Magic Wand tool, Photoshop, and I'm going to select the background around all of these guys inside the bounding box, as well as outside. And I'm just going to hit that delete button or backspace, and I'm going to do select. So what that has done is that has removed the extraneous background away from my photo. The reason I save my photos as PNGs instead of JPEGs is because PNGs can have transparent backgrounds and you don't have to have multiple layers. So that's the way. I didn't have to do anything else to this particular graphic file type. I just opened it in Photoshop, deleted that background out, and now I'm going to take my crop tool and I'm just going to crop around the bounding box because sometimes when you save as PDF you get noise on the edges of your page. And that can read in Design Studio, and it can distort your file size or how big it's going to print. So I'm going to hit Shape, commit to that crop. That makes me happy. I'm going to save that guy. Photoshop doesn't give you, oh there it is, the rainbow spinning wheel of death. Okay, so we're done. We're going to quit Photoshop. So now I'm going to come down here to Google Chrome and we're going to open up our Design Studio. The last time I filmed this tutorial for you guys, I forgot to turn my microphone on, and then I had to install a new Cricut plugin, so it took a minute, and it was really long. Let's see. Come on up there. So we're going to hit our landing page for Cricut Design Space, and we're going to hit New Project. Alright, so this is just like you would normally do. I'm going to hit Upload image. I'm going to browse for that image. And I'm going to come down here to New. And I'm going to click on Import Art. Now, hit Open. So, if you had not gone through and done that extra step in Photoshop, what would happen is you would have that white page that you had seen beforehand. If you go through and do the extra step in Photoshop, you're going to see a transparent background all the way through, and your white, or your transparent background, and your bounding box. So we're going to hit Simple, and click Continue, as long as it decides to be okay. Okay. Again, so if you had not done that extra step in Photoshop, what you would do is you would just select the background, and select the background what we did in Photoshop was go ahead and make Design Studio's work really easy. We went ahead and edited that background out, and then if you choose, you can crop around and make sure that you have only a little bit outside that bounding box. Again, it's not necessary. I just find that it works better for me. So I'm going to continue that guy. Okay, and this is Critical Mass. We're going to see that this color looks good. I think the colors are where everything is supposed to be. And then when you check your Save as a Cut image, you want to make sure that you see lines on all 4 sides of that image. That's super important. Okay, and we're going to hit Save. You can, of course, rename to whatever you need to. And it's going to think about it for a minute. Okay, so I'm going to click the image that we just uploaded, and I'm going to hit Insert Image. And it's going to think about it. Awesome. So here we go. Maybe. There we go. Okay. So you're going to see when it places the image, it's larger than in the printable area. So we're going to come up here. We're going to just choose 6.75 because that was how large we made that bounding box. Okay. So you'll notice that it is 3/1000ths of an inch too large that way. Cricut will still not print this. So back it up to 9.25 even. It's going to make you 2/1000ths short on this side. I'm pretty sure that doesn't matter. It has never mattered before for me at any time that I've printed it. So this is the right size. So make sure your image is selected. I put mine at 0.5 and 0.5. Alright. And then I'm going to hit Save. And this is Shoot for the Moon. Stickers. Great. It's going to save that guy. And there you go. Once you get all your different pages uploaded on here, you'll click Make It. And over here, it'll lay out the 5 different mats or however many pages you have. And then you go through and you print and you cut like normal. I hope this was super helpful for you guys. If you'd like to see what Moon looks like in a couple of weeks when I get it printed and use it, just let me know. And I will be happy to show you guys how it turned out. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope it was helpful.